my channel. My name is Michael and today is Saturday, August 21st. It is so hot outside in East Tennessee today, and what better day to stay indoors and do a book haul, am I right? So this is probably going to be a long one. I have 15 horror and thriller books to show you and talk about, so you might want to grab you a snack, get you a drink of water, maybe some wine, whatever you're in the mood for, and let's just get right into it. So, as you probably know, I read mostly 2020 horror and thriller books. However, I only have 5 2020 books to show you this time. So that means I have 10 older books I can't wait to get into. I don't know when I will be able to read those, but at least I have them, and I'll get to them eventually. I'm going to start with the 2020 books, get those up front, because these will be the ones I read first, of course. The first one I have is The Boatman's Daughter by Andy Davidson. So all I know about this one is it's about a girl who works for a mad preacher and his declining cult following. To make ends meet, she ferries contraband for the preacher and also protects an old witch and some kind of secret child. But dark forces are about to emerge, both human and supernatural, and she has to make a choice. She's gonna have to try to keep her loved ones safe. I'm assuming that means the witch and this mysterious child, but can't wait to read this one. The Boatman's Daughter. So next we have Touch the Night by Max Booth III. Now this is a story about 2 young African-American teens who get in trouble with the law, and it turns out that the cops aren't exactly human. Well, the boys go missing, so their mothers get involved, as mothers do. So it's up to these mamas to take the law into their own hands before a family of ungodly lunatics can complete a ritual decades in the making. Sounds super spooky. Touch the Night. Cool cover. Next we have a super short one that I'm really looking forward to reading, because you know I'm all about the short stories, the shorter books, and that's going to be The Girl in the Video by Michael David Wilson. So this is a story about a teacher who receives a mysterious, arousing video, and his life descends into paranoia and obsession. More videos follow, each containing information no stranger could possibly know, but who's sending them? And what do they want? The answers may destroy everything and everyone he loves. So, it says the girl in the video is The Ring meets Fatal Attraction. That's an interesting mashup. So, can't wait to read this one. The Girl in the Video. Next is another super short one, and that's going to be The House on Abigail Lane by Keelan Patrick Burke. Now this is a book about a house, seemingly harmless, but anyone that ever goes upstairs goes missing. That's really all I know about this. Doesn't really give you too much detail, but I'm all about it. Again, super short. Both this one and The Girl in the Video are less than 100 pages, so I'll knock those out in no time. I've heard really good things about this one. Really looking forward to reading it. The House on Abigail Lane. So the 5th and final 2020 book in this haul is going to be one that everyone has been talking about. It was originally published in 2017, but was translated to English in 2020, so that counts, right? That's going to be Tinder is the Flesh by Augustina Bastarika. Now, this is a story I'm kind of nervous about reading. So an infectious virus has made all animal meat poisonous to human consumption. Therefore, humans are being I don't want to say grown, I don't know exactly, but we had turned to making cannibalism legal. There are slaughterhouses specifically for human meat production. Anyway, it's about a guy who works in one of these slaughterhouses, and he comes across one of the humans that are to be slaughtered and kind of develops a relationship with her, I think. Something. I've heard this book is really kind of disturbing, graphic. I'm really nervous about it. So, if you've read this, let me know what I'm in for. Tinder is the flesh. Okay, so those were the 5 2020 books that I plan on reading before the end of the year. So now, let's jump into the 10 horror and thriller books that are slightly older. And I think one of the oldest ones I have to show you is Dark Mountain by Richard Layman. I've heard a lot about Richard Layman, but I have not read any of his stories. I do have one of his, I think, called The Lake. I've not read it. So Dark Mountain is about 2 families on a camping trip in the mountains in California. And they come across an old hag with ungodly powers and her hulking son who has violent urges. So, you know I love, oh, I'm lost in the woods and there's something after us stories. So, as soon as I read the synopsis of this, I knew I would have to read it. I don't know when, but I'm really looking forward to checking it out sometime. Dark Mountain. So this is one I didn't even know existed. And it's kind of just for fun, for shits and giggles. That's going to be Jason X, The Experiment. Now, I love scary movies. Freddy, Michael, and Jason are at the top of a lot of horror fanatics lists. So, as soon as I saw this, I was like, well, I'm gonna have to buy that. Apparently, there was one before this just called Jason X, so I'm assuming it was the adaptation of the movie. This is, I guess, the sequel. And it's about military scientists who try to discover the secrets of Jason's regenerative powers. So I'm guessing they're trying to clone him, discover the secrets behind how he keeps coming back to life time and time again. I don't know. But it's going to be a fun read. Jason X. So this next one is one that I've already showed you. I think it was in my July wrap-up, maybe? Whenever I went book shopping in Pigeon Forge. And that's going to be R.L. Stein's Return to Fear Street series called Drop Dead Gorgeous. Now, I don't really know much about this one, except it's about a girl that moves to town. She's gorgeous, she's smart, everybody wants to be her friend, but nobody really knows anything about her. There's some kind of festival coming up, and her secrets are about to be dug up. Is she dead? Is she a zombie of some sort? I don't know. Look, I love that cover. Yes. Definitely will be checking this one out. Gorgeous. So this next one is a 2019 release, and it's called The Chain by Adrian Mckinty. This is a story about, how do I say it? So a woman drops off her kid at school. She gets a call saying her child has been kidnapped. Well, the one that's calling says that her child was also kidnapped. And if this lady doesn't kidnap another kid, then her kid will be murdered. So she is now part of the chain. It sounds pretty interesting. What would you do? I mean, you would have to follow through. I mean, this is going to be a crazy story, I think. Not much else to say about it. The Chain. So this next one was also a 2019 release, and it's called Keep This to Yourself by Tom Ryan. So in this story, 1 year prior, there was a serial killer on the loose who killed 4 people, the last one of which is our main character's best friend. Since then, they've all been trying to move on with their lives, but our character, whose name is Mac, discovers a note that Connor left for him on the night he died. And this is going to open up a can of worms. And Mac's going to go on a mission to solve these murders. Well, you know that's going to lead to trouble. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading this one. Keep this to yourself. So next is one that when I saw it, I was like, yeah, I'm going to have to get that. That is Undead by John Russo. If you don't know who John Russo is, he was one of the writers of Night of the Living Dead along with George Romero. And this is a collection actually of two stories, one being Night of the Living Dead and the second one being The Return of the Living Dead. The Night of the Living Dead was released in 1969, I think. The novel adaptation was written in 1973 by John Russo. And before the Return of the Living Dead movie came out, he had written The Return of the Living Dead in novel form. So this is what this collection contains. The movie was a horror comedy which was done after the novel. So this is going to be very different than the Return of the Living Dead movie. Much more gorier, scarier, no comedy. And yeah, I'm super psyched to be checking this one out. I think I'm going to read it in October. And yeah, look at that cover. Undead. So I guess I've just been on a zombie kick lately because, you know, I just showed you Undead. I read The Living Dead last month. And now we have Warm Bodies by Isaac Marion. So this is a story about a zombie who's not quite like the other zombies. He has thoughts. He has feelings. He meets a girl, and at first she's his captive, but he doesn't really want to eat her. He kind of likes her. I think I tried to watch the movie once, and of course it was super cheesy. I'm hoping the book is better. If not, it was only $2, so whatever. Warm Bodies. So for this next one, I remember watching the movie, but I couldn't tell you anything about it. It was just okay. And when I saw the book, it was only 25 cents. I was like, well, I'll just go ahead and get it. And that is The Snowman by Joe Nesbo. I don't even really know what this book is about, honestly. So I might just need to read the back of it. One night, after the year's first snowfall, a boy named Jonas wakes up and discovers that his mother has disappeared. Only one trace of her remains, a pink scarf, his Christmas gift to her, now worn by the snowman that inexplicably appeared in their yard earlier that day. Inspector Harry Hole What? Yeah, that's his name. Are you kidding me? Okay. Inspector Harry Hole, oh my god, suspects a link between the missing woman and a suspicious letter he's received. The case deepens when a pattern emerges. Over the past decade, 11 women have vanished, all on the day of the first snow. But this is a killer who makes his own rules, and he'll break his pattern just to keep the game interesting as he draws Harry ever closer into his twisted web. Okay. I don't know if I can even get past that name. I should have read it more closely. Oh my gosh. You would think naming a character Harry Hole? Oh my gosh. I don't even know what to say about that. That's... Oh my gosh. Okay, anyway. So we're just going to move on. Let's just move on. Okay. So the next one I have is When the Sky Fell on Splendor by Emily Henry. I don't know much about this one either, except it's kind of like Stranger Things in a way. Let's just read the back of this one too. Almost everyone in the small town of Splendor, Ohio was affected when the local steel mine exploded. If you weren't a casualty of the accident yourself, chances are a loved one was. That's the case for 17-year-old Franny, who 5 years after the explosion still has to stand by and do nothing as her brother lies in a coma. In the wake of the tragedy, Franny found solace in a group of friends whose experiences mirrored her own. The group calls themselves The Ordinary, and they spend their free time investigating local ghost stories and legends, filming their exploits for their small following of YouTube fans. It's silly, it's fun, and it keeps them from dwelling on the sadness that surrounds them. Until one evening when the strange and dangerous thing they film isn't fiction, it's a bright light, something massive hurtling toward them from the sky. And when it crashes and the teens go to investigate, everything changes. Yes, I love the cover of this one. Aliens. Can't wait to check that one out. So, the last one I have to show you is the only hardback book I have in this collection. And that's going to be Unberry Carol by Josh Mellerman. First of all, I love this cover as well. I love pretty covers. And apparently this is a story about Carol, who has a very unique disorder to where she often falls into a coma and appears to be dead. Well, her husband married her for her fortune, and he takes advantage of the situation, and he claims that Carol is dead, and she gets buried. Well, the love of her life catches wind of this, and he's on a mission to rescue her. But in the meantime, Carol is buried alive. Oh my gosh, and it's up to her to try to free her own self before she dies. For real. Yes, sounds so good. It says it's like a twisted take on Sleeping Beauty. Okay, I can see that. But I'm really looking forward to reading this one. I've read Bird Box and Mallory by him, and I would love to read something else, something different. And this sounds really intriguing. So, Unberry Carol. Whew, so that's it. So we got aliens, we got zombies, we got buried alive people. There's so many things. I mean, cannibalism, witches. I've got a lot to read, and I'm really looking forward to reading all of these at some point. Definitely the 2020 books will be coming soon, so we'll have to see how the rest of the year unfolds and when I can get around to them. So, well, thanks for joining me today. I had a lot of fun talking about these, and I hope I have given you some inspiration or some recommendations, and I will let you know my thoughts on them whenever I get around to reading them. So thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to hit subscribe, murder the like button, leave me a comment down below, let me know if you've read any of these and what you thought about them. And yeah, so that's it. Until next time, keep turning those pages. Bye.